Wise US banking trust charter got denied. Of course, I'm disappointed, but I'm not surprised at all because this is a news that I already wrote about in May, and it seems that the all-knowing market wasn't really expecting it. So let's talk about what really happened, what Wise was trying to do, why they cannot do what they wish to do, and now what they are trying to do next. One of the mode of Wise is that they have these direct connections in 8 central bank systems. So instead of them relying to partner banks, they have direct accounts in those central banks. For example, in the UK, they were the first non-bank to have a direct connection. In Japan, they were the first non-bank to have the direct connections. Then they don't have to rely on any partner. They can lower prices as low as they want. But unfortunately, they don't have this in the US, and they wanted to get this. But the only way to have a direct connection with the Fed is to be a bank. This is the regulations, this is the law in the US. They applied for a banking charter, which got denied now. The reason why it got denied is because they did not satisfy many of the requirements. For example, the board looking at this bank, they need to have experience in banking, which is not really something that Wise does. And they also mentioned that Wise doesn't really have a banking license in any country. So it becomes harder for them to get a new one, and especially in such a highly regulated market as in the US. And there is the issue that Wise failed to meet some of the AML, anti-money laundering requirements. And last year, just 1 month after they applied for this banking license, they got fined by multiple US states. They paid the fine, it's over, but it affects them. Of course, now I believe Wise is better in terms of compliance, but they still do not meet the requirements. But that doesn't affect the way that Wise operates today. This is what is important. Wise still provide the lowest prices in terms of cross-border worldwide. This still matters. The market is usually worried that Wise keeps lowering take rate. So good news, Wise will not be able to lower take rate that much anymore until, of course, probably they get another license. So the way that Wise operates in the US, nothing changes. It's the same operations. And having a banking license doesn't mean that you may say, okay, Revolut has a license, they will lower prices more. Yeah, maybe they can do this, but why doesn't JP Morgan do the same thing? Why Citigroup, Bank of America, HSBC, all these banks, they have direct connections with the Fed. Why don't they do it? Because they cannot do it. It's hard. That's why is trying to do that differently. And I don't think that competitors will come and easily now. Wise fail. That means that the other fintech companies too will probably fail to get these banking licenses and able to compete directly with Wise as far as the US is concerned. So what's the next step for Wise? And this is what I wrote about in May. And I recommend you read the article I wrote. I talk about this. So important that the US President Trump issued an executive order that facilitated how non-bank had access to the Fed. And the next day, the Fed reacted, they changed the rules, and they actually put a pause on the onboarding of fintech companies that were trying to get banking trust licenses like Wise. But now this is over. They have to restart from the beginning. But what the Fed was trying to do was to give some limited access, so a skinny account. Wise will not be able to fully operate like JP Morgan or Bank of America, but they will have access to the Fed and it will help in lower prices. But Wise also applied through the Genius Act framework. And this is something I'm not so aware about. As we know, Wise doesn't use stable coins yet, although they say that probably they are going to use it in the future if it lowers prices. The reason why they don't use stablecoins, cryptocurrencies, is because the on and off ramps are still more expensive compared to the business that Wise do today. But if, let's say in the US, they have the stablecoin, they are able to use stablecoin just to connect with the Fed and other banks. If this lowers prices compared to what they're doing today with partner banks, because when they use partner banks, they get wholesale prices. And there's always a fee that Wise has to pay, and of course this is passed on to consumers. But if Wise is able to sustain this with stable coins without having the consumer to do the on and off ramps, so it's all in the background, I don't see the issue with that. And I don't know if Wise is going this direction, if they are going to do this 100% part of it. I don't know. Nobody knows except the people working at Wise, and I'm not worried. The operations of Wise doesn't change what Wise was doing yesterday, they are doing the same thing today. Of course, this is a roadblock. I would have preferred they get the full license. It's not going this way, but Wise is still providing what they aim to do. This is what you need to focus on as an investor. It's not like you're investing in a company and you expect that everything will be smooth and there's not going to be any competition, no regulators or anything like that. If it was easy, everyone would have been doing it. So in the meantime, I will recommend you watch this video I made a few months ago comparing Wise with Revolut, with Monzo, a few of the other neobanks, telling you why Wise is not a neobank and why they are so different from these companies. Have a nice day and goodbye.